We are now going to see about the poetry section. There are 3 poetries you have to read about: Daffodils, Ballad of Father Gilligan, and another is your Sum of Life. Now look at your books and see the page number 119. There you are getting the poem Daffodils. So daffodil is a flower. It is yellow golden color. William Wordsworth is the poet who has written it. He is a poet of nature. You should look at your book and read the introduction, something given about him. The introduction of the poet. So remember, he is the poet of nature. So in the poem Daffodil, what he has described, you have to mainly focus on the points such as person, place, object, incident, and the 5th one is comparison, if any, because questions are coming from comparison also. So 5 things you have to focus on. Let us see, when and where did he see the daffodils? These flowers he saw in a lake, besides the lake, beneath the tree. See your book. Is it written or not? It is in the 5th and 6th line. You have to catch this. Combinedly this question may come, where and when he see. So when, for this answer is while he was wandering alone, lonely. And where, besides the lake, beneath the tree. This is the language you have to use, whatever given in the poem. Next, you go through the questions in this chapter. Question number 1, page 121, question number 1, 2 combinedly may come. And now go to the number 4 and 5 question. What does the poet compare the daffodils with? What, number 5 is, what resemblance does he find between the stars and daffodils? These both are comparison related questions. So what the poet compared daffodils with? The stars. Daffodils are compared with the stars. Why? Because the number of daffodils are large, at the same time the stars are also large in the sky. Large number of stars. That's why. And continuity is the second point we have to think about. Resemblance means looks like same. So here the resemblance is brought between the stars and the daffodils for 2 points. Number 1, large number. Number 2, continuity. Another word also you remember to put there, twinkling. So it's a nice comparison he has made. We have to focus on this. This question is likely to come in the examination. And another important question I am telling you now, you see from page 121. How does the poet feel while looking at daffodils? This is one important question, number 9. And number 10 question, what happens to poet when he lies on his couch on his restroom? So think about this. The question is, how does the poet feel looking at the daffodils? Right? He was feeling very pleasant. Because he is a poet of nature, he loves nature very much. He felt very much pleasure while watching the daffodils. He said that my heart is filled with joy and I am dancing with the daffodils. The dancing of daffodils here is a matter of imagination, not the reality. Actually what happens when the waves passes below the flower, the flowers look like dancing. For that he has used a word, sproutly means livingly, as a living being. The flowers were dancing. It is the waves behind the flowers that danced. So he imagined the daffodils are dancing. Then his heart was full of pleasure. That what he did. When in his coach also, he used to see the scenery, that which has he already seen in his two modes. Two modes he has referred. One is pensive mode and another is vacant mode. You please see the glossary to find the exact meaning of pensive. Otherwise it is said to be painful, but in book it is given as the thoughtful. So you have to write the answer, thoughtful. And vacant mood means leisure hours. In both the periods he used to sit on his couch. When on his couch he lies, he just used to imagine the scenery and enjoy the beauty of the scenery. At that time he feels full of bliss. What is bliss? Again you must have it in glossary meaning. You can see the glossary. Bliss actually to me means happiness to the power infinitive, means the highest happiness possible. The happiness that has no bound is called bliss. That he derived from the daffodils. So my heart is filled with full of pleasure, I danced with daffodils. He used this term. That means you can imagine how much happiness he might have got just recalling the moments or the scenery. Right? And what wealth he referred for this. That means if that much time he would have been spent in some work, he might have earned some money. But why we are collecting wealth? Why we are working day and night to acquire the wealth, to buy the pleasure? Am I right? Yes. Wealth is only meant for pleasure, it has no other use. We are buying pleasure out of the wealth we earn. Yes? Because if you see a cinema with your wealth, how much pleasure? 3 hours pleasure you are getting. If you eat a dosa, how much pleasure you are getting? You are getting some pleasure. You are buying pleasure directly, but dosa is visible to you in the hotel. Am I right? So wealth is meant for pleasure. If there is no pleasure out of wealth, then this is waste. This is waste. That he wanted to say, how much wealth I get from this scene is uncountable for me. It is a state of bliss, means the highest happiness I receive from it. So here in this chapter I am concluding. So question number 1, 2, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 are very important. And for science students, you must have to go to the number 18 also, the figures of speech, simile, hyperbole, metaphor, these are likely to come. So you should have some knowledge about this. So now the daffodils over. Remember one thing I am telling you, it is very important. If you read a non-detail chapter, you will get only 3 marks, 3 MCQ questions. But if you read a poetry, you are getting 6 marks. So now manage your time. If you spend more time with non-detail, you are getting only 3 marks. If you are spending less time in a poetry, you are getting 6 marks. Similarly, prose 6 marks. Doctor's word, if a lesson you read, it will take half an hour, you will get 3 marks. Daffodils, if you read, it will take only 15 minutes, but you will get 6 marks. Now think, which one is to be studied first? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching and share it among your friends.